Go ahead.
Announcement is made that adequate notice of this meeting has been given and that it is being conducted in accordance with NJSA 10:4-6 et sec of the New Jersey Open Public Meeting Act. Laura, please call the roll.
Mr. Berkowitz.
Here.
Mr. Parikh.
Here.
Mr. Reddy.
Present.
Mr. Willens.
Here.
Chairman Irakane.
Present.
We also have a board attorney, Mr. King.
Present.
Let's start off with the Pledge of Allegiance, please.
That way.
It's over there.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which stands one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay.
We didn't need them because there's no commercial applications.
Okay.
Okay, at this point, is there any member of the public that has any business to be brought to this board that is not on this evening's agenda? I hear none and see none. Okay, we're gonna go into the first application, Nora, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Application 23:37, Cheryl Grossman, 3 Twin Oaks Road. C variance to legalize a paver driveway, contrary to section 430-275H.
Will both of you be testifying, or just one? Who's going to testify?
I am.
If you could raise your right hand, you swear firm testimony, give the board to yourself you got.
Yeah.
And for the record, can you state and spell your name?
He's just got something to say, you know, problem.
I was just gonna say it's 312 Court, not Road.
Okay.
Cheryl Grossman. Who's on the spelling, you said?
No, you're the owner of the subject property?
Yes. Well, we both are. I don't know why they're going my name set. It was together in the beginning, but we both own it.
But you're going to only testify, correct?
Sure.
Mr. Chairman, the witness is sworn.
Can you pull the microphone closer to you and speak into it?
Okay, is that better?
That is good.
Okay, so we have a driveway width that exists 34, 24 is allowed, and 34 is proposed. How did this happen?
It's been 34 for about 45 years that we've been living there. We never increased it. That's how it's always been. All we did was resurface it.
You put the driveway in?
No,
Driveway was there when you got there,
yes,
40 years ago,
44.
44 years ago.
Yeah.
Okay,
So you're just gonna improve the driveway?
I'm sorry?
You're gonna make it look better?
We did,
Oh, you did?
Yes.
Already? That's why you're here, because you did
Yes.
without a permit. Okay.
well, this all happened in the middle of it being done.
Got it, okay. Okay.
how did you end up here then? Did you get a permit to put the
No.
driveway in?
We didn't think we needed one, and the person that we hired, who was a trusted person that was recommended to us, said that we didn't need one, and I foolishly believed the person I trusted to do the work.
And it was just a repaving, you just repaved your driveway, correct?
We put pavers in,
Okay, so you ripped up the asphalt, put pavers in?
correct?
Any problems with drainage?
No.
No.
We got a positive engineer's report.
You got a positive engineer's report?
First one I've ever seen.
First one I've ever seen. Amazing. Okay. I don't know what else to ask. Anybody have any questions?
I have no questions.
No questions.
Mr. Berkowitz, you have any?
Any idea, did somebody file a complaint that you got here?
I don't know who did or what happened. All I know is that during the work, we got a knock on the door from somebody in, what department was it? Was it zoning? Yeah, that said that they had gotten a call, and they came to look at it and said everything looked fine. And then he called me back a little while later and said, it might be a little too big. I said, but we didn't increase anything. The footprint of this driveway has been the same as long as we've been in the house. We simply changed the top of it.
Any other questions?
No.
Any members of the public have any questions of this witness on the testimony given this evening? I hear none and see none. Nothing else you'd like to add, is there? Any members who wish to speak in opposition to this application, in support of this application? I hear none and see none. Rick, you really don't need to speak. Honestly.
Well, you probably think like we do, so you probably don't need to say anything.
You know, the problem is that we have, after the fact, applications tons of them, but they're not as benign as this one. First of all, most of the ones that we get haven't been there for 44 years. People decide they're gonna put a fence up. You put a 6-foot solid fence on the front yard. You can't do that, and it frustrates us a little bit because people think it's easier to ask for forgiveness than it is permission. So we've actually been talking to the council and the mayor about instituting a fine. If we grant a variance after the fact, there's gonna be a fine for not doing it in a proper way. In your case, 44 years, you didn't even own the house. You bought the house, it was already there.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I think I've said my piece. Somebody want to further resolution?
I move that we grant the application, requested for 23:37 Cheryl Grossman, 3 Twin Oaks Court, Block 479, Lot 31 in the R3 zone, and we legalize it and grant the C variance for the paved driveway that apparently is contrary to section 43275H, as outlined in the zoning officer's report.
Second ready?
Any discussion or call the roll?
Berkowitz,
Yes.
Parikh,
Yes.
Ready,
Yes.
Willens.
Yes.
Ira Kane.
Yes. Results of variance is granted. We'll memorialize this at a future meeting, but you'll just get something in the mail saying that it's done. Okay?
Thank you very
Now, seeing all
much.
5 of you came out, you can stick around for a little while if you want. We have,
Thank you very much.
It's gotta be something better on TV.
yeah.
And how did I manage to lose my freaking agenda?
Your agenda, here you go, Mr. Chairman.
Oh, this is, oh, here it is. I knew it had to be here somewhere.
You don't have to stay, you can go.
Yes.
It's
Yeah.
homework, right? Yeah.
The bar's just down the street, You're welcome.
Thank you.
All right, application 2336, Michael Savio, 18 Oneida Avenue. C variance to legalize an air conditioning unit and oil tank contrary to section 430-35, column 8. Good evening.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My name is Frank Scangarella, Scangarella Law Firm representing Mr. Savio. We're before you here this evening for 2 bulk variances. We're looking for relief under 4055 70C2, and with reference to the ordinance 430-75, properties located in a R4 district. Today I have 1 witness I'll be calling it, and that's Mr. Savio, if you could have been sworn in.
So you raise your right hand, you swear affirming testimony you're about to give before the board's true self you got, and your name is Michael Savio, S-A-V-I-O, and you're the owner of the subject property. Mr. Chairman, the witness has been sworn.
Thank you.
Mr. Savio, are you familiar with 18 Oneida Avenue? And I showed you, or I just handed you a portion of the application package, which is a survey, and hopefully the board members have that. And that's the survey of 18 Oneida Ave, correct? And where, have you seen this before?
Yes.
And where did you see it?
When I asked the town to provide a survey.
You have to speak a little bit louder, please.
When I asked the town to provide a survey, and this was on file already.
Yep. And from your knowledge, does this survey accurately depict the house, yard, AC unit, and oil tank on the property?
Correct.
And that now is pretty lot, isn't it?
Yes,
And it's 40 feet?
correct.
And is the size of your house relative to other houses on the street about the same?
Very similar.
Okay. And how many stories is your house?
3 stories?
And there's a garage in the front?
Correct,
And the house was built in approximately 1950, correct?
correct.
And looking at that survey, the house is approximately 7 feet from the easterly property line and 6.9 feet from the westerly property line, is that correct?
That is correct.
And you haven't made any additions to the house during the period of your ownership, is that correct?
No,
Okay. There's also an AC compressor and an oil tank on the westerly side of your house depicted on the survey, correct?
correct.
And did either of these pieces of equipment exist in those locations at the time you purchased the house?
Just the AC compressor,
Okay. And approximately how far is the house from the property line to the west? I think we just said 6.9 feet. And the AC compressor is 3.32 feet from the property line, correct?
correct.
And just draw the board's attention, the purpose of this variance is for 430-75. We're looking for a relief of 2.7 feet for the AC compressor. Again, as Mr. Savio just testified, that's pre-existing at the time of his purchase. And you had the oil tank installed, is that correct?
That is correct.
And when was that installed?
In 2021?
Okay. And there was an oil tank previously on that property, correct?
Correct.
And where was that prior oil tank?
It was underneath in the crawl space?
Okay. And you had that moved, correct?
Yes.
And why is it that you had it moved?
Just due to the concerns of it leaking. It was
Speak a little louder.
It was due to the concerns of leaking. It was the original oil tank from the start. And I was advised by the professional service to put it outside.
Right.
So it was an in-ground tank?
Correct.
Okay.
And did you consider any other locations on the property?
I took all the advice from the professional firm, and they advised me that that would be the only location that was suitable.
And that oil tank is actually closer to the house than the pre-existing AC compressor, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And there's also shrubs along the property line between your house and the neighbor to the west, is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay. And approximately how tall are those shrubs?
About to my shoulders,
Okay.
6 feet.
So, Mr. Chairman, that's it for Mr. Savio's testimony. Clearly, with regard to the oil tank, we're looking for a variance of 1.5 feet for that newly installed oil tank since 2021. And with that, I would just note that the request pursuant to 70C2, that the grant of the two side yard setbacks are warranted, that the purposes of the municipal land use law would be advanced by a deviation from the ordinance, that in moving the oil tank, it did aid in remedying a potential environmental issue as well as a potential fire safety issue within the house, that the benefits of the deviation, fire safety and environmental benefit substantially outweigh any detriments. The detriment granting the requested deviation of 1.4 and 2.68 feet is kind of the visibility harm that would inure to your next door neighbor, which is substantially mitigated by the buffering by the shrubs. And then lastly, the grant of variance can be made without substantial detriment to the public good and will not substantially impair the intent and purposes of the zone plan. And actually, to the contrary, the variance that we seek today both advance the purposes of zoning with regarding the promotion of public health and safety and to advance safety from fire, both pursuant to 4055D-2A and B. So with that completes our case.
Two questions. Not question. One is confirmation. You have a 40-foot width lot. You're in a 60-foot zone. Therefore, if you had a conforming lot, you wouldn't be here.
Yeah.
Correct?
Correct.
Correct. Correct.
Question. How far from the property line is your neighbor's house on the side of the air conditioner? Approximately how far? 10 feet, 20 feet?
I would say like 7 to 10 feet,
7 to 10 feet?
maybe.
Have you ever had any,
No.
have you ever had any complaints from your neighbor that the air conditioner's too loud?
No.
How'd you end up here? Somebody reported you?
To sell the house, to get the CO, it was picked up at that time.
Oh, okay,
Yep.
okay, okay.
And when the oil tank was installed, the company said they had to get the permit, which they didn't see an issue, and that's when this was all brought up.
Okay,
When I bought the house, it was already there.
so are you the new owner then, or did you sell the property, Anna?
I'm in the process of selling.
You're in the process of selling, it. Okay.
So you bought it, now you're spinning it, selling it, now you ran into this problem,
Yes.
okay? So okay.
Any other questions by the board?
No.
I mean, we've had these before. We've actually had them where the new construction, they put the air conditioner alongside the building as part of the development. And then when they had to be replaced, the town said, oh, we never approved that.
Yeah.
So, any other questions? Any members of the public? Whoop, I'm
Yes,
sorry.
Yes, one question. You did remove, you said, right, the old tank?
Correct. I got it all tested, moved out of the crawl space. There's no longer any oil tank in the crawl space. And then the new oil tank was installed right next to the AC
Okay, I see
compressor.
that. Okay, thank you.
And you have permits to do all that?
Correct. Yes.
Okay, good.
You got
Oil company.
the contract on what you shouldn't do anything unless you have it. Any member of the public have any questions of this witness on the testimony given this evening? I hear none and see none. Any members of the public who wish to speak in opposition to this application, in support of this application? I hear none and see none. De minimis request?
Yeah,
Yes.
minimum request for the safety of the health, public health.
Someone frame a resolution?
Let me do it. Application 23:36, Michael Savio. 18 Onida Avenue, Block 512, Lot number 13, Zone R-4, to issue or grant a C variance to legalize an air conditioning unit and oil tank contrary to Section 430-35, Column 8.
Second, Casey.
Any discussion? Nora, please call the roll.
Berkowitz.
Yes.
Parikh.
Yes.
Ready.
Yes.
Hurricane.
Yes.
How about Williams, yes?
Williams,
Okay, that's okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Variance is granted. We'll memorialize this at a future date, and you'll be free to get your picture.
Luck's on us. Good luck.
Application 2331, Chris and Sharon Ganella, 15-foot lane. C variance to construct a raised deck with patio below, lower patio and stairs, sidewalk, and 4-foot-high post, and a rail fence contrary to Section 430-35, Column 13.
My pleasure to represent my son, Chris Ganella, and my daughter-in-law, Sharon Ganella, in this application. My name is John, English, A like in Albert, Ganella.
Are they paying you well for this?
Absolutely.
Good, that's important, thank you.
Who's going to testify?
Well, I want to put Chris on the stand quickly.
Sir, could you raise your right hand? You swear or affirm testimony about the board's true self you got?
I do.
For the record, you're Chris Cannell, you're an owner of the property.
Yes.
You're sworn, Mr. Chairman, the witness is sworn.
Thank you.
Chris, when did you buy this property? Bought it in 2007. And it was new construction?
Brand new construction.
In a development in the area, with other houses that were built at the same time?
Yes, it was a,
It was a 6, 7 house subdivision. Is there a swale that the town allowed to go behind the houses that were constructed at that time?
yes, there's a rock swale that goes across all the houses on our side of the street.
This application does not affect the swale at all, correct?
It does not.
Okay. Give the board an overview of what the topography of this land is going to the street going back to the backyard.
So our house has a walkout basement. So it's relatively, it slopes gently to the street from the house itself, in the front yard. But on the back, there's a large slope that goes towards the swell. We have a large retaining wall that goes along the driveway side of our house. At some points, it's up around 5.5, 6 feet. And then it comes down into the backyard. And then there's another separate retaining wall that goes across the back edge of the property along the swell. The way I can describe it, it almost crowns, and if you're looking at the backyard from the deck, it's a larger drop-off, a larger elevation change on the right side than on the left. But yeah, it slopes toward that swell from our house.
And that slope going into the backyard, does it have an effect on your use of the backyard?
Yeah, I mean, in reality, you can't do much in that backyard. We've had, I think, one family party back there, and the tables are all slanted. You need a V8.
Careful, people got lost in the woods and
Yeah, no woods back there, unfortunately. It's just, our neighbors have housing fire.
So what is your proposal for this board right now? What's the effect of what you want to accomplish?
So what we're trying to do is make the backyard a livable area. We want to put in a new deck of composite material, whether it's AZAC, Trex, something that's long-lasting and durable. We would have a wood deck now that's been there for a while and needs to be replaced. Our under deck area is basically just
crushed stone. There's no real use to it. We want to make that area almost like an outdoor living room where we can put a TV on the wall of the house, have like a living room area where you can watch TV, have an area where there's a bar, seating area underneath the deck. And with the new deck that we put in, we will have it so water cannot get through. So it'll be like a rain gutter system that takes water from the deck above out rather than coming through the area below. We also want to grade the backyard of property so it's more level. It's just a gentle slope away from the house rather than steep grade than it is now. And we want to put in a retaining wall on the back past the property.
Is there any proposal to do the retaining wall on the side of the property? Is it deteriorating to the point where you have to replace it?
So the wall in the back is worse than the wall on the side. The wall on the side and the wall on the driveway is fine. The area from basically, I don't have to describe it, from my driveway down into the backyard, that area of the wall is deteriorating. It's never really constructed right, and it needs to be replaced. The wall that goes over the back, the swale, there are large boulders that keep falling off. That wall needs to be.
The proposal that you're making before this board will have no effect on the drainage going into the swale, correct?
Correct. We're not touching the swale. We're not touching the swale.
I have no further questions.
Impervious coverage. I'm just, is there an engineer's?
No, I don't see it.
No,
report?
I never received one.
Any construction that you do, if we approve this, will have to be in concert with the town engineer for drainage purposes, okay? Depending on, where things go, we don't want a situation created where your runoff from your house goes to neighbors' properties. We've dealt with this a lot. For some reason, there's not an engineer's report. You know why there's not an engineer's report? You don't know?
No idea.
Okay. Dry wells, and different things to make sure that there's no, so, and unfortunately, we do not have a report from them.
How much soil movement are you gonna have?
That I can't.
Because you might need a soil moving permit also.
I was gonna say.
And we don't grant those, those are granted by the council.
But it sounds like the amount of work you're gonna do, you're gonna be moving a fair amount of soil.
There's definitely gonna need to be soil brought in.
So you're gonna need to get a permit for that. If we approve that,
Yeah.
that'd be qualifying. for
Again,
drainage.
do you have an engineer that's working on the
Yeah, so the engineer we work with is Paul Ferrero Engineering in Chester.
Again, whatever we approve tonight may be subject to necessary permits for, soil moving.
Yeah, it's up to
Okay?
So let me just make sure I got it too. So you currently have a deck, okay? And it's falling apart, needs repair. And below that deck, you have an area now that you want to pave or cover to increase your utilizing space, right? And are there issues there at all? You're going to use pavers under there? You're going to you're going to be any impervious coverage issue for you there? Do you know? Because that's not a part of this application.
No, 2%, I think they are.
Actually, there is.
Well, you could,
They're increasing.
but,
2%.
but if you're gonna have a room down there,
Yeah, that's
you're
right.
gonna have some sort of ceiling, right? No?
No, I mean, it's gonna be, I don't have.
Because if you put Trex in, there's bound to be some,
There's an under gutter, so he's
Oh.
gonna put a deck, and there's a system that
Okay.
attaches the water,
Okay.
and
All right.
then drain it out, but that's what the engineer will probably
Got it,
tell him,
okay.
direct it to maybe a
I
dry well.
think is gonna be the roof or the
Yeah.
first floor.
Yeah.
So-
No, yeah,
That's what we're attempting.
there'll be a way of collecting the water from the deck, and it's gonna have to go somewhere,
and direct it away.
and that has to be addressed.
About 2%, the proposed is more compared to
What? What's your,
A whole bunch of pictures.
existing 30.
So you plan to enclose the patio that's under the deck? You are planning to make a room like that?
No,
Not a room in the sense of like a room that you live in, but it's an outdoor living space.
Because you say you are going to have a TV outside or on the wall outside?
Where's the bar gonna be, on the deck or in the room?
It will be on the side of the house most likely. It's an area that will be covered, so my family can utilize it,
Yeah.
probably 3 seasons of the year, right?
This is very, my house down in Beach Haven West, it's very common in that area. People, because most there, they have to elevate their houses. So now all the living space is up one level, so they have this big, under their path that they create, like you said, a 3-season room.
Okay.
But it's not gonna be closed, it's gonna be open. It's gonna be open, yeah.
So if you look at the photos, I don't,
Yeah, we got them.
That's these?
Yeah.
you can see the deck.
Wait, hold it. We're gonna mark that.
Yeah,
All right,
you
we're gonna
have
mark
to
that as
that.
A1 and put today's date on it.
And then I think those are the pictures that are.
These are the pictures that we're looking at here, right? Yeah.
So if you look at the rear view of the
Yeah.
deck, this right here,
Right.
the room that we're talking about is basically, it's gonna look similar to this, except for it's going to be a finished area with pavers on the ground, maybe a bar area in there,
Mm-hmm.
and we can have seating, couches,
Mhm.
table, things of that nature.
Outdoors, yeah.
Oh, like outdoor furniture.
Yeah, it's just an outdoor area, right? It's not gonna have any walls.
Yeah.
What's already there, nothing's going to be changed.
Not like a room or.
The rear perspective on the plan, plan, this will show you exactly what we're
Mhm.
looking to do, right? And like, the TV will probably go on a wall, like here, we'll have seating in this area here, maybe another seating area here, bar.
Now, you don't have any bug problems back there? No, really?
There's bug problems everywhere.
We don't have any. Okay, so the current deck and everything.
I'm just saying, you wouldn't want it screened in to,
I mean, yeah, maybe we put like a screen that comes up and down.
yeah,
that
something
effect, but
something to keep, yeah.
yeah, that's all simple electronic screen.
You don't want the skunks walking up to you and,
So you're not really changing the footprint here, you're just improving the deck, and improving the down below area. And my only other question, just for, make sure you're okay here, the existing retaining wall, you mentioned that 3 or 4 times, okay? What does it retain, or is it, what purpose does it?
The retaining wall hold back the earth in the area that is constructed.
On the side.
And it's falling apart, what if it wasn't there, what would happen?
Well, the retaining wall, say, collapsed today,
Yeah,
then my backyard would basically flow towards the swell.
okay, yeah, okay. You're going to the swell, okay.
and you're just replacing the existing wall, you're not gonna raise it, or what are you gonna do?
The wall might need to be raised in areas where we're going to try to level out the yard.
Okay,
Especially if you look at,
But that'll be the engineering's requirements report, right?
in this area here, the wall is pretty low,
Mhm.
so it might need to be raised in order to
Yeah.
achieve this grade,
Okay.
but it won't be raised, we're not gonna replace anything that's already there.
really, you need to make sure your engineer talks to the town engineer, because you don't want surprises later on, then you gotta come back here because we didn't give you everything you needed, so.
Is your current deck is 656 square feet, same size, you say?
I don't know what the current square footage of the deck is. My architect is here, she can testify to that.
Okay. I just want to know, it's the same size or not, as the current deck?
Oh, the new deck?
Yeah.
The new deck will be bigger,
Bigger, that's right. Wider, yes.
be wider and wider.
How close is your neighbor behind you?
Not very close.
Their house is significantly far back from my property line, and my house is about at least 20 feet, 30 feet off that property line, so I think it's 32, at the closest, it's 32 feet, 8 inches off the property line, so they're at least, I would say, 50 to 60 feet.
There is vegetation in the back?
There are trees, yeah.
There's trees, right?
Yeah, so
Okay.
you can see, like, this is
Yeah.
Or in my backyard, there's trees that kind of line the property.
So it's not gonna be an intrusion to your neighbors behind you?
If anything, it'll beautify this my home more than it already is. It's part of the project is to make it look nicer than we already have. I mean, also to make it more usable for my family, but
Right.
it will make my deck will look nicer and my backyard will look nicer.
Are you gonna,
Yes.
use the architect also, or?
Yes.
Okay, fine. Any other questions of this witness? Any members of the public have any questions of this witness on the testimony given?
I have a question.
Oh, you have a question? I didn't, no, I'm hiding behind you, Brian.
Yeah,
What's your question,
I'm
Brian?
quite there. Yeah, well, on the zoning officer's report, she mentions a fence and retaining wall, in the easement. Yeah. Is that a new fence, or?
There is no fence currently there. I don't know if raising the retaining wall's height would require a fence. If it does, we'll put one in. If it doesn't, don't want it, we'll.
I didn't know.
As far
I don't know
as
why she
retaining
mentions
walls-
it.
She says existing fence. Is that what she said?
She doesn't use the word existing.
She uses the word existing?
She does not.
Did not.
And there isn't one existing. It's just a wall right now. So, we have a lot of references to swale, and Mr. Bergwitz is talking about a right-of-way, so can you tell us about that? There seems to be, that's on your property, there's water runoff that goes through there from the development, is that the deal? Is that what the issue is here? Or don't you know?
The swale's not the issue. There is a 20-foot drainage easement on the property.
Drain easement, yeah.
There is a rock swale that was constructed as part of that drainage easement. My understanding is there's a perforated pipe underneath the rock swale. There is a grate where water runoff is from surface water is supposed to go into that pipe, and it flows out to the street.
And does it?
Yeah, I mean, generally, and honestly, like, the problem with that swale, the way it was constructed originally, was the grate that they installed was too high. And I actually called the town out back in 2007, 2008, and they came, they had the contractor lower that box to the lowest possible point.
Okay.
It's still, the water from the swale does flow into that, but it has to be a very heavy storm.
But you've not had water permeating under the properties, overflowing that or anything else, right? And you're not moving anything with that right now or changing it all anyway?
We're not touching this.
Okay, thank you. Good.
Any members of the public have any questions of this witness? I hear none, see none. Want to bring the next witness?
Julie Ann Sincere.
A man, raise your right hand. You swear affirm testimony you're about to give before the board is true self you got?
Yes.
And for the record, can you state and spell your name?
Julie Ann Cecere, C-E-C-E-R-E.
And your testimony will be architectural?
Yes,
And all your licenses are in full force and effect?
yes,
Been qualified before either this board or other board use in the state of New Jersey?
yes. I'm also a licensed engineer. I'm not the engineer on this property, but I may be able to answer some questions as well.
Okay, and all your licenses as an engineer in full force and effect, and you've been qualified as an engineer in the state before?
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, the witness has been sworn and qualified.
Okay, you may proceed.
Mrs. Sincere, you prepared, you took these photographs
I did.
and you sent them to the board, they have them.
Yes.
You also did a site plan on the back of that.
The site plan was done by Fiero Engineering, but I marked it up with the architectural drawing.
You have that marked, site plan marked as B2, photographs in
Yes.
A1.
It's A1
A1 or A2?
A1,
A1, A1.
All right. Sincere, you typically indicate this
Can you speak into the microphone?
Yeah, you need to speak on the mic.
Can you please enlighten us as to specifically what is going to happen here if the board approves the application?
Absolutely. So I provided some color on the site plan. You all have this same information. I just colored it to make it more clear. So here is a blue dashed line. That's the existing deck that we propose to remove. and then around it is the shape of the proposed deck. Underneath the proposed deck in the same shape will be the patio that we recently discussed. This blue dashed line here, and it angles, represents the existing retaining wall that we were just talking about. The red is the proposed retaining wall. So part of the retaining wall that is on the angle will be removed in order to gain some usable space in the backyard. This is also a topographic plan, and the way those are read are the dashed contour lines are the existing, and the straight lines are the proposed. The closer the contour lines are, the more steep the slope is, and the further away it is more flat. So it's the intention to gently grade the backyard with less of a slope than exists, but keeping the drainage direction the way it is. So that way it doesn't change where the water flows off the property. It will still be slightly sloped towards that existing drainage easement and swale, but it will be a more gentle slope so that the way the property is easier to use.
So you'll be adding a lot of soil back there?
Well, they'll be adding some soil. Yeah, the contour lines start from 487, and then they go to 488 in the original, but the way that it's going to be sloped is going to be more sloped on the, kind of filling in and letting it gently come back down. But yes, there will be fill instead of removing. But the retaining wall won't be higher than 4 feet. The engineer has indicated the top of wall and bottom of wall height. So it won't be raised that much that we're creating a 6-foot retaining wall or something really high.
Okay.
So the general feeling of what is there now is really going to be maintained. It's just a matter of providing more usable backyard space back there and removing this clip, if you will, of this angle. I'm sorry if you walked over.
No, I can see it.
Is there any fence going to be proposed?
No, there is no proposed fence.
No
Is
need
the
for one, is there?
retaining wall is in the easement area? Any part of the retaining wall, on the corner especially?
There is a small part of the retaining wall on the side.
Is in the easement?
Is it in the easement?
Is this the only variance?
Yeah. That's what I was trying to say.
Yeah, that's what we're trying to say.
You're only I'm sorry,
No,
I didn't read this
the
before.
easement is, okay, yeah, so the easement is down here, and the rear part of the retaining wall will be in the easement. However, the existing retaining wall is also in the easement. So it will just be extending the small leg towards this triangle here, additional retaining wall.
I'm sorry, I'm just reading the zoning officer's report here. You're only seeking a 2% impervious coverage variance.
Correct.
And that's just for the expansion of the deck?
It's yes, it's the extension of the deck.
We don't, I mean, all the testimony you're giving us on the wall is fine, but we don't have any jurisdiction over the wall. If it's, am I wrong? We don't.
It's in compliance.
It's in compliance. So all we have to be concerned with is the impervious coverage. You're not even doing building coverage. You're asking for no setbacks, no side yard, no rear yard, no front yard. We gotta deal with potential drainage, township engineer.
That's it.
Well, and you're not putting anything in that that drainage easement, right? The 20-foot drainage?
Yeah.
Just where the retaining wall, the existing retaining wall is. Yeah, there is the existing retaining wall along the back line does land within that 20-foot easement, and we're replacing that with a new retaining wall in the same location for the majority of it.
So
That's
are
not
you
part of
building
the
the wall
application.
in that 20-foot swell? How much? Because I think that was raised by the zoning officer. Is there a way that you can push
I
it
can
back and
measure
out
it
of
very
it?
quickly.
Well, they just have to agree to take it down if they have to.
Yeah, that's.
Do they need permission?
No,
Well, it's a drainage easement, so they gave an easement for drainage.
But is the wall already there?
What's what they're
There
saying?
is already a wall.
And you're just gonna improve it, the one that's there?
And extend it slightly.
Okay, got it.
It's, about 3 feet into the drainage.
And it's there already.
It is. If you look on this sheet here, this blue wall is the wall that's existing, and this red wall is the proposed wall. So there'll be a portion of it that will be removed and not put back, and then there's a portion of it that's extended. So it's probably gonna wind up being very close to the same linear feet.
Yeah, I know, but what about,
She's just telling you what to do.
Okay.
Okay.
Is there an existing fence around the wall?
There is no fence.
And you are putting a new
And we're
fence?
not proposing one either. I'm not sure where that disconnection.
Because in the
from
zoning
the
report, there is a fence they talk about, and I was just wondering, where is that fence going?
She misread the.
You must be looking at another piece of property or something.
Yeah, it says a 4-foot-high post and rail.
It does look like a fence on the survey, but it's called out to be a wall, so that may be where the site mistake is. But what we're proposing to do is very similar to what the neighbor has in the backyard, in the back of their house. It's a pretty deck with pretty columns below. Theirs isn't finished underneath, but we're planning on making
That's
it
the wall.
aesthetically,
Mm-hmm.
very similar to what's there. And I think it will be an
Okay.
upgrade, to the house.
Pictures
So,
don't show me.
I feel that, you could really apply the C2 variance to this because it's a benefit to the house, it's a benefit to using the property. It's promoting outdoor health and wellness, and it has no negative impact because it doesn't block the light glare of the neighbor, and it aesthetically will match the fabric of the community in the backyard there.
And what we need to approve is a variance of the pervious coverage is 2%, which is very de minimis to me. So, Mr. Chairman, I would like to move ahead on this case.
Okay, let's see if do you have any other witnesses?
No.
Any other questions of this witness? Any members of the public have any questions of this witness? I hear none, see none. Do you want to sum, or do you want to just go based on the?
I'm going to ask a question of, you and you're going to be working with fire engineering, that an engineering plan for the flow of the water, correct?
Yes.
How long do you think that's going to take?
It really depends on their schedule. I'll send them the architecturals and we'll, finalize the plans, so it shouldn't be.
That, the engineering report will be discussed with the township engineer. He'll pass judgment on that.
Yes,
He'll tell you what to do with regard to drainage, dry wells, and all that stuff,
Yes.
okay?
I have no summation.
That's it. Any members of the public who wish to speak opposition to this application, in support of this application? I hear none and see none. It's a 2% increase, which is clearly de minimis.
Minimus.
It's gonna be a significant improvement to the backyard.
Yes.
And as long as as long as you put in the resolution.
So in the resolution, your engineer is gonna talk to the town engineer regarding drainage. He's gonna talk to the town engineer regarding any need for a soil movement permit. The town engineer is gonna review the height of the wall just to make sure that it's not anything other than that 4 foot that you spoke about. And you're not gonna put a fence in this property, so.
Correct.
Is that your resolution, Mr. Berkowitz?
So it is.
Is there a second?
Seconded.
Any discussion? Nora, call the roll.
Berkowitz.
Yes.
Parikh.
Yes.
Ready.
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Hurricane.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Result is the variance is granted. Enjoy. No swimming pool?
Yeah.
No swimming pool?
Should I take them off the board or do you want to?
Yeah, take it off the board. Take it off the board.
thought about it, and that was way more complicated.
It was worth more than the house.
But you're gonna have a margarita party sometime.
Swimming
in
pools.
July, right?
Oh, we'd love to be, really. We're open to invitations, but, no,
Not bribery.
the price of pools these days must be out of sight, huh?
You don't wanna
Very
know.
expensive, but the biggest thing here was
Your lot.
the wall that we would have had to build and the amount of,
Yeah.
it was insane. The price was-
Yeah, I can imagine.
It was like $400,000.
I believe bears doesn't drink alcohol.
Okay.
A lot of bears here.
Okay, we through at the 7 o'clock meeting?
Yes.
Motion to adjourn?
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay. Nora, can we go right into the next meeting, or you have to do something?
Nope, already there.
Good. Announcement is made that adequate notice of this meeting has been given and that is being conducted in accordance with NJSA 10:4-6 at second, the New Jersey Open Public Meetings Act. Nora, please call the roll.
Berkowitz,
Here again.
Parikh,
Here.
Ready,
Present.
Willen,
Yep.
Hurricane,
Still here.
we have our board attorney, Mr.
Present.
King.
We will dispense with the Pledge of Allegiance, since we did that at the 7 o'clock meeting. We have a resolution to approve?
Yeah. 22:58.
Resolution to approve.
That's Lee.
Lee Outdoor Advertising, which is,
The sign on Route 80.
Sign, Route 80.
it's Casey, Reddy, and me.
Chairman, you want to open up to the public first?
Oh, I'm sorry, thank you. Are there any members of the public who wish to speak on any matter that's not on this evening's agenda? Please come forward.
You're on, don't worry.
Okay. Everyone, I'm good.
Sir, could you state your name for the record?
Nicholas Hamyak. I'm here on the matter of the previous issue of validity from certain internet sites. And I have the letter here. The chairman, Mr. Ira Kane, you asked for a valid source from me that...
Yeah, in terms of a witness. You cannot present data because you are not an expert. You cannot present data. Am I wrong?
The data doesn't have to be presented by me, it can be used for your purposes.
I don't know where it came from.
So, Mr. Homack,
That's what this is about.
Mr. Homack, you can speak to their certain data, but evidentiary, it's not as powerful because you don't have the person who came up with that data, who did the study, or a witness who is an expert, who would say that this is what I base my expert opinion on, this data that's known throughout the community.
The letter was sent to the board, it was signed for, return receipt requested. What I have here is a simple request for you to just read the letter. I have a copy for every member.
You can give it to the board.
Give it to the board
I
secretary.
already have it, you and I discussed it.
So,
last-
she'll distribute it and we'll read it.
The issue is not experts, as this board testified, members of this board are not experts. The issue is to argue or to contend certain issues of property and landscape, and the validity of these sources are the best scientific information according to the state of New Jersey. So that's the...
This is
fine.
Thank you.
Fine, we'll read it.
Yeah.
Fine, we'll read it.
Yeah,
Okay.
hopefully every member of this board.
This is for, there's knowledge.
Right.
Okay.
Okay, all right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you for bringing up this.
Thanks.
Good night.
Good night.
Do we have to pass a test after we read it?
Thank you.
There you go.
There's this test.
Do you remember the song?
Share.
Gadflies we used to?
It's going to be a test next week.
Yeah, yes.
Do you remember the guy who used to come out of
Chairman. Chairman.
He moved to Pennsylvania or something. Who?
Mr. Reddy already separated that for you.
Yes. For you and,
Okay.
All right. Resolution.
I got more than one more.
Yeah, no, I don't.
You can have more.
Mr. Reddy, you want to move 2258?
yes.
Okay, Mr. Berkowitz, you second?
Yes.
Any discussion? Nora, please call the roll.
Berkowitz,
Yes.
Parikh,
Yes.
Ready,
Yes.
Hurricane.
Yes,
There was correspondence.
Yes, there is.
there is correspondence.
That's from this guy.
It was last minute.
Oh, this is the,
Yes, the application. For not pulled, but carried.
This is the one that was on tonight.
Mhm.
All right. Do we have a date?
Yes, January, 24th.
24.
That's my son's birthday. Okay, we have a letter from Mr. somebody here, Mr. Peck, requesting that case 2315 be carried to January 24th, 2024, without further notice and with whatever extensions are requested, Nora?
Correct.
Do I have a motion to that? That's obvious because we only have 5 people here
So
tonight.
moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay, you can have that letter back. Now, so that takes care of resolutions, takes care of 2232. Let's go to 2315. I'm sorry, no, 2232 is the only one here. Thomas Petrozelio, 15 Lakeshore Drive. Come on up. Come on down.
Sir, raise your right hand. You swear affirm testimony you're about to give before the board is true, self you got. And for the record, you're Thomas Petrozelio, and you're the owner of the subject property. Thank you, you're sworn.
Please sit down and speak loud into the microphone. Okay, so we are looking for a bunch of variances. Okay. Front yard shed, front yard pool patio, front yard gazebo patio, front yard fire pit patio, impervious coverage, fences and walls, fence height, and fences and walls, see-through. Okay, you want to tell us what you'd like to do?
Sure. So, can you hear me?
Yep.
I'm assuming you have a site map of my property.
Yes.
Yep, that's it. So as you can see, I have, according to the site map, 3 front yards.
You know, it's funny because there's a house with 3 front yards on Knoll Road.
Is there?
Over right by where the road turns around. And every time I pass it, I think of that poor guy. And I knew that at one time the person who lived there.
Yeah.
Do you remember him? He was in the corner.
So, the truth is, I'm here tonight to ask permission to actually treat the side yard and backyard as such, so that my family can start to enjoy a little bit more privacy and actually use the backyard. And also with the neighbors' thoughts in mind, they kind of, I think about my 2 backyard neighbors, they literally stare into the back of my house, which happens to have a lot of windows, and it's probably pretty awkward for all of us. So what I am proposing, everything that I've proposed is what would be typical in a backyard, and I would just like you all to consider a variance to treat it as such, because clearly I have a front door. My address is 15 Lake Drive. I have a front door and a front porch and a front mailbox, and none of that is on the side or the back of the house. And I just think it's kind of would be great if we could treat it as a backyard. So the items that I propose are all that would be typical in privatizing someone's backyard so that you can use it for leisure and privacy.
And that backyard is really facing Main Drive, but there's no neighbors right there, right?
That's correct. The back of the property butts up to a curb and then a street, and then the only houses on the back side are across Main Drive. And of course, I have my neighbor to the back behind me to the left, which is actually, his address is Main Drive, that his front yard, but that's on the side anyway.
That's a house on lot 11.
11.
Say to the left.
Oh, is it 11? I'm sorry.
That'd
11.
be to our right, lot 11.
Okay.
Or lot 2, I'm not sure which.
Where are you proposing this 6-foot-high fence?
Truthfully, I put that in because my wife wants a dog. So it would be, we would propose it to be whatever is like a lawful variance from a road, or an easy. I really, truthfully, I don't know. I would put it wherever you would say, but it would be like a privacy fence that would go along the curb, basically.
Unfortunately, 6-foot solids are kind of ugly. How about 5-foot, 4-foot solid and 1 foot with a lattice or plank or something?
Yeah, truthfully, if I really gave it a lot of thought on the side yards, I would probably even do like a 4-foot or 5-foot lattice. And if I was to do a solid one, and we put the solid one because obviously if you're approved for a 6-foot high solid, you could probably go down, I'm assuming, right, or semi-solid. But
We don't approve 6-foot solids on a
We're very hesitant about approving 6-foot fences.
I would be open to any of your suggestions, and honestly with the fence, because I would intend to, as part of this project, I would intend to plant some trees. Really for privacy, as I said, the fence would be more for like my children or a pet, or in the eventual installation of a pool, you know? But the truth is that for privacy purposes, the fence is actually secondary to me.
Okay, so there's no pool there now, you want to put a pool in, okay?
Once again, my wife would like to eventually have a pool. That wouldn't be part of my initial scope, but I think it's important to understand what I can.
But you're not here asking for approval for a pool.
I'm not asking for approval right now, I'm asking if in the eventual,
Yeah, but I don't think it's that simple. What's the rule, Nora? If we give him a variance for a pool today,
The pool's on the review, so if you're approved for this, as long as you get your zoning permit within I think it's 180 days, you don't have to do the pool today. You could do it 3 years from now, as long as you install it in the approved location, the same size, everything.
Okay.
And that is.
Thanks for that clarification.
And that is why that was our understanding, so, I mean, I guess, we, like the expression, we threw in the kitchen sink because we knew that, I didn't want to waste your time again, and we wanted to just see what was possible in this backyard, what we consider our backyard.
All right, variance for a shed, let's just take it a little bit one. I'd like to, my mind works one time.
It's right here.
Yeah, I know. So the shed, yes, okay. The shed location is there any way you can move that so you don't have to be worried about that 3-foot?
Yes, sir. What is the allowed, 5?
Well, no, it's
40.
40, yeah.
40 feet?
Front yard.
I know.
Be in your living room.
I guess, to be honest with you guys, I'm open to anything that you suggest.
Well, why do you have the shed way over there on the side?
Just because I kind of want it out of the way. Again, if this was, I'm going to put it in your eyes. If this was your backyard, where would you put your shed? In the way back corner, right? So I designed that backyard diagram to mimic anyone else's, and I should be able to have a backyard, in my opinion. But again, I take your suggestions and your decisions, and I can certainly move it in any direction that you feel is appropriate.
Well, if you treat this as his rear yard, and he needs what, 10 feet?
He's not, even 3 feet is not encroaching on anything behind him, except the road is behind him.
There's a road there, so it's not.
So let's do 5 feet? 5 feet sound okay?
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, 5 feet, okay?
Yes, sir.
That's just round it up. All right, so that we got that. The fence is gonna go along Main Street, is that where you want the 6-foot high fence?
That's correct, but I would be open to it.
5 feet, one open?
Yes, sir.
Okay, it'll look much nicer. And I would recommend that you you have a lot of problem with deer in your neighborhood?
It seems like we used to, but not, I feel like.
They're all over my yard now. You might want to consider putting vegetation on the outside of the fence.
On the outside?
Yeah, it doesn't have to be real high stuff.
Yeah.
Just maybe low stuff, but something that the deer aren't gonna eat, because you don't wanna feed every.
Yeah, I wasn't really sure if we were gonna do, more of the the tree placement. I didn't know what was appropriate inside or outside, to be honest, but I just know that, vegetation will accompany the fence, but if you suggest the outside.
Well, I'm just saying, it'll dress it up and make everything look a lot nicer.
I really do have the neighbors in mind with this as well. I wouldn't want to be looking at my backyard right now.
Okay. We have a letter from the engineer, let's see what he's
How far
got.
is the fence from the property line? It's right there, right, on the property line?
Well, there's really only one property line, and there's more than enough room between that and the property. That would be 11. And I have, I think, over 22 feet between my house and VS property.
Yeah, it should be.
Yeah, I just pulled it out.
My house and his property line is 22 feet. That's the only property I share the one.
You currently have a deck there now?
Yes, I was going to say, in terms of priority and scope, the truth is that the money that I have will really only do the patio at this point. So I'm really, I would ask for your consideration at this point to take down the deck and put a larger paver patio, which is on there.
Okay, larger than you proposed?
Oh, no, sir.
Just
No.
what you, okay, the engineer is saying that the 12 by 12 deck is not even on the plan. Are you aware of that?
I am not aware of that. I do know that when I purchased the home, the deck was there.
Yeah.
And that the survey that you're seeing was approved for the purchase.
It was a prior owner's
So
survey.
here, did you see the engineer's letter? Memo?
No, I have not.
How come they don't get these?
I don't know, they're supposed to mail them. Here,
Okay.
take this one.
Well, my first thing he said, a 12 by 12 wooden deck, not on the plans, but you're planning on taking that down?
I am, sir. And I
Okay.
believe there was a slate patio there prior to.
Okay,
Which
so
is really what
that,
we're gonna be doing.
so you take that down, that's a no contest, right? Now, the next paragraph deals with the fact you're increasing the impervious coverage by 3,072 square feet, which is approximately 1,000 square feet over the maximum allowed for this zone. This will result in significant increase in stormwater runoff for the property. The applicant is required to address the increase in stormwater runoff either with seepage pits or other stormwater management measures. The design and details of that proposal propose stormwater management measures. I don't have my reading glasses with me tonight, and I'm trying to read through my progressives, which is very difficult. Must be provided and be approved by this office. So you need an engineering report as to how you're going to deal with runoff.
Most of it is probably, most of that is probably the pool.
No,
Pool's a collector.
But, yeah, but not according to the town engineer. He always,
No, he is, yeah,
he always-
impervious coverage, yeah.
What is the size of the pool?
28 by 52.
28 by 52.
No, that's including, not the pool itself.
Yeah,
Pool
that's
itself
the
is
concrete. 16 by 32 is the pool.
16 by
Water itself. Around it, you have, I guess, a concrete.
Almost 14,000.
Well, regardless of the specifics, he wants to know how you're going to deal with stormwater management.
If we remove the pool from this plan, would that remove the issue of the
Most of
impervious
it.
coverage?
Probably most of it.
That would be my suggestion at this point, because like I said,
You can always come back for a
you
pool
can always
variance.
come back to the pool, and my concern is starting construction of the paver patio and taking down the deck.
Okay.
And how many
So
kids do you have?
What's the square footage?
Shoot, sir.
Okay,
What's the-
I have a 20 by 40 pool, and I can tell you, friends have the 16 by 32. That's still a very big pool.
Yeah, I think, like I said, I sort of was throwing everything against the wall to see what would stick. And I hope that doesn't come across as wasting anyone's time, but the truth is, my only concerns are the patio, and then at the end of that patio, I'd like to have a covered gazebo, so that we can enjoy a little, like, covered time outside.
Was that 28 by 50? 28?
20 by 35 patio and a 20 by 25 gazebo. What's between the gazebo and the patio?
No, it's
The
the
total.
28 by 52.
Sort of like the
Okay.
patio, sort of, the plan is for the patio to sort of,
1,456 square feet.
with a covered area as part of the patio.
Do we know the
That
square
makes sense.
footage on this? So you're proposing that we make the the patio, the pool and the patio would be 1,456 square feet. Is there somewhere here that I can easily find the square footage of the property?
They have it 18,000.
0.44 acres.
18,000?
Property size 18,000.
18,000 something.
18,748, let me write that down. 18,748.
Yeah, it's down here in the
And actually,
bottom.
that number's crossed out, and the number of 19,000.
19,184.
is written above it.
19,184?
So I don't know if that's,
Equals. Okay, so you're proposing to knock off 7.6% of the impervious coverage.
And does that get us under the allowable where we wouldn't?
Well, it makes you a lot closer. Impervious coverage, yeah, yep, you would be below.
it will be below.
Great.
7.6.
Yeah. So
From
28%.
35 puts you below 30.
Yeah.
So he doesn't need an impervious coverage variance. He's not gonna do the pool. He's gonna, so the rest of the stuff is the rest of the stuff is all generated by the fact he's got 3 front yards,
Yeah.
correct? So, and he's agreed to do the fence 5 foot high, 1 foot of that 5 feet being lattice.
4 solid, 1 lattice.
Yeah, and the other side, if you wanna do 4 foot, just,
I like
then
that
you,
look of the side yards to be.
like a picket fence.
Lattice.
Okay, so you don't even need a variance for that, then that's the
That would
permissible.
be
4 foot, 50% open.
Yes, sir.
Okay, what did I forget? Bernie, you look very pensive there.
no,
You're good?
I'm good.
You're good. Casey, how you doing?
Yeah, just, 2 variances for the gazebo, one for gazebo and one for fire pit. I think we should look at that too, because fire pit is way far out of place, somewhere in the corner, 3 feet.
Which
From
one are
the-
we talking about?
Fire pit.
Fire pit and gazebo, if you, last 2 variances.
Why fire
On
pit
the
is
first
all
page.
all the way down?
Yeah.
Well, again, so if you can kind of notice that, why? Because my wife doesn't like cigars, and I thought it'd be nice to have an area kind of far from, seriously, the patio, and you can see the, lake and the sunset from that area. So again, there's no houses, like on that immediate corner.
No.
There's a property on the short side and a property where the long side starts, but there's actually just road and a little bit of woodsy space between houses where that fire pit is. Again, nothing is not amenable, so if you feel more comfortable providing a number that's a little further from there,
Yeah.
I can guarantee that whatever we do there is gonna be private by bushes.
Yeah.
It's gonna be enclosed area, and there's also a little, our property has somewhat of a natural slope, so the
I
fire
thought this was the
pit
shed.
is actually,
Oh, that's the
wouldn't be a
gazebo.
fire pit, it would actually be a fire wall built into the slope.
Just like the shed, can you move like a 5 feet?
Of course, whatever you think is appropriate.
Like making like a,
This one is 5 feet, it's 5 foot on one side and 10 on the other, and I can certainly adjust that as needed.
This looks like 15.
The gazebo is over 4.
Oh, I'm sorry.
From the closest area is 15, I believe.
12.
12.
is proposed.
I think there's significant hardship here. In fact, the man's got 3 front yards.
yeah.
So,
No, I
and
agree.
as long as he agrees with the kind of fence we're talking about, agrees to put some vegetation outside the fence, I think the visual impact to the neighbors, of which if you look on, well, you can't look on this.
No, nothing there to disturb, it's not disturbing
His-
anyone.
To that corner of your property, your neighbors are not, they're relatively far away, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, there's a lot of trees and everything.
A lot of trees.
Yeah.
It's like across the street, and then there's woods, and then their house is probably, I gotta say, their house starts about 30 to 40 feet from even the tree line.
Yeah.
On the other side of the house.
and you are not smoking close to the,
Not even allowed.
Put a big fan out.
It's gonna stunt your growth, you know.
Cigar every once in a while, I guess.
Any other questions by the board?
no.
Any members of the public have any questions of this witness on the testimony given? You guys are good back there, okay? Staying awake? Okay, good.
So my question is, just moving to approve this, what write up that we have to, we've got a lot of verbal things we've agreed to here, so.
Peter,
Okay,
uh,
let's enumerate
So,
them.
with regard to the first ordinance, he's agreed to a proposed 5 foot from the 3 foot, so he's amended
Yeah.
that out.
Okay, yeah.
With regard to the second, he's removed that, the pool patio, he's removed the pool,
Yep.
so that request is
Yep.
removed and been amended. The front yard gazebo patio at 12 foot stays the same. The fourth request, the fire pit, it's gonna be 5 foot, that remains the same. The next, on the first one on the second page, the impervious coverage is removed because he took out the pool, which brings it under the 30.
Yep.
The fences, he's going to amend to a 4 foot solid, 1 foot lattice.
that is allowable, yeah.
That's correct, and then,
Sorry, I thought it was 5 foot solid, 1 foot lattice.
No.
5 foot high.
Total
That's fine.
five.
Yeah.
I'm totally
That'll be
fine
very,
with that.
believe me, it'll be plenty of privacy.
Yeah, no, I'm
Plenty
not
of
worried, I just wanted to be clear.
Listen,
And it looks
listen,
expensive too.
you gotta get a smaller door.
and then the fences and walls, 50%, that's gonna stay because,
Yeah. Okay.
I'm sorry, the, shed, was that 5 from the property line?
yes, it's gonna be 5.
Okay.
And then he's gonna comply with, the engineer's letter.
Yeah, engineers.
Okay, any
Well,
members of,
I'm in compliance by removing, right?
You should be. yes.
impervious
Impervious
coverage,
is-
if you
yeah.
remove the pool, you're in compliance.
So, the engineer's letter is
Well,
resolved.
there were some other things there, I believe, right?
I think most were.
Underground roof leaders, seepage pits, if you have any.
I think that most of that had to do with H3.
Yeah, but if he wasn't here for coverage,
Yep.
he wouldn't even.
When he removed that pool, you know, that doesn't,
Just for his own.
Yeah.
It becomes.
I think you just talk to the engineer, explain to him,
Yeah.
and he may just say you're good.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I don't know, I just have one question. Is there a standard for the fence from the curb to where it should be? Should there be?
Well, it's gotta be at least 6 inches inside your property
Your
line,
property.
right?
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yeah, but you
That's
may
the
want to move it,
that's the minimum.
Probably even more.
if you're gonna put some plantings.
Yeah, but you also wanna be cognizant of line of sight view for people driving around your house. You don't wanna put the thing out too far, because you're gonna block the view of the, and I don't know if that's an issue or not, but I
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. So the
Yeah.
closer it is to the house, the less line of sight.
yeah,
That's correct.
more view.
I got it. Thank you. I just wasn't sure if there was, but 6 inches is like
That's the minimum.
which
Name.
is gonna be at least 3 to 4 feet. So
Okay.
Yeah.
Where exactly is your property line? Is it the curb?
I gotta imagine it is. I don't know.
I wouldn't count on that.
No, I wouldn't count that.
I
Oh,
wouldn't
okay.
count on that.
Because the road is a 50-foot right-of-way.
Have you ever had your property staked out?
Like by the police?
No, but it's,
I don't know.
Good answer, good answer. Oh, you got me on that one. No, you're having a surveyor stake your property.
Survey.
well, there's an iron pipe on the
The
survey.
iron pipes were in
Okay,
existence
then-
on the property, the actual property line between the only place where there's a house, which is,
Well, the iron pipe is like right at the corner, so that's your property line for Main Drive and also for the neighbor.
And there's two iron pipes.
yeah, there's one on the.
One on the side.
Main Street, what's my address?
No, yeah, but
Drive,
he's
one
one
on
over
Main.
here.
Yeah.
It should
I
be-
think if those pipes were there to know where, because those are shared property lines.
Right.
So I think they were there to know, where the property line is between houses.
Yeah, well, that's how you're gonna know where to put the fence.
On the sides.
At least inside the property
Besides
line.
that, yeah, but on the curb side,
You mean on Main Drive?
on the main drive.
Well,
I don't see another pipe, I only see 2 pipes, so you,
going to-
the iron pipe that's on Main Drive.
Yeah,
You know where the iron pipe is?
yeah,
Is it on the curb?
no.
Well, that's your property line.
that's the
So-
corner.
That's the corner.
Oh, okay.
That's a corner of
So
your
you have to
property.
assume whatever it is from the curb to there, and then all the way that wraps around?
Yeah.
Okay.
Kinda go,
So assume the distance between the curb and that pipe,
Okay.
it would be consistent along that line.
So it's 3 feet, then I would have to follow that 3-foot line.
Man, you're smart. How'd you like to be president of the United States? Because what we got now could hold a candle. Okay, any members of the public
I
who
know
wish...
it's not an appropriate answer, but I think I'm too old.
Any members of the public who wish to speak in opposition to the application, in support of the application? I hear none, see none. All in all, it's not a terribly significant, I mean, there's a lot of things in motion, but it's all caused by the three backyards.
3 front yards.
3 front yards, I'm sorry, 3 front yards. Someone like to
Mr.
make a...
Petrozello seems to be amenable to whatever
Yes.
needs to be done to do it right, so just work with the engineer and get that stuff done on the final plan you want to propose, make sure he's comfortable, okay? Thanks. Takes a while.
Someone like to frame a resolution, which we're going, why don't you tell us what we have to do?
Okay, so what we're approving, I gotta pull it out again. Are a resolution for the front yard shed from the proposed 3-foot to a 5-foot. So there was an amendment to that. He's taken out the pool, so the second variance request has been removed. The third variance request is 12-foot gazebo from the property line. We're granting that. The fourth variance request is for the fire pit. That's 5-foot. We're granting that. The fifth variance request for impervious coverage has been removed because he's removing the pool, so it brings him under the 30%. The fence and wall height variance has been amended to a 4-foot solid and 1-foot lattice for a total of 5 foot instead of the 6-foot solid that he'd requested. The last variance is going to be approved. It's the 50% see-through of the fence. And he will talk to the engineer and comply with any recommendations of the engineer.
Is there, is that?
So moved.
Yes.
So-
Second ready.
Second, okay, any discussion? Nora, call the roll.
Berkowitz.
Yes.
Parikh.
Yes.
Ready.
Yes.
Willens.
Yep.
Hurricane.
Yes. Result is the modified request has been granted.
So you go home and tell your wife, okay, you're gonna get everything
You got everything you wanted.
Except for the pool.
except for the pool, and you
You
can,
guys can answer to her.
Well, you heard the other testimony, does she want to pay $400,000 for a pool? It's crazy, yeah.
yeah, or you can
You only
come
use
back
it
at
for a few
another
months.
date.
I'll come back in a few years when I have the money, and I appreciate it, guys. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Good luck.
Gazebo,
You know, just give me a call if you have to.
you'll get the rest of it.
I had a
Gazebo not
pool
approved for
a
cigar.
number of years and came right off my back deck. So my wife could stand in there and I looked and watched the kids swing.
You guys wanna talk about something?
It
No?
was perfect. All right, motion to adjourn?
Moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? What's that?
You don't want to get the cards to set up a poker game?
I don't know, I think we should go out for a cold one.
Oh, God. Wow.
I want to go to the new Whippany,
Brewery place?
brew pub.
Double tap.
Where is
You
it?
been there,
Whippany,
Peter?
Double Tap?
The guy who owns it is an attorney.
Double Tap, is that the name of it?
Yeah, double tap.
Yeah, where is it?
That's for the old post office.